Welcome to the BIM Hunter Hive podcast, where you listen to interesting fictional stories from aspiring authors for your listening pleasure and relaxation.
Deborah's Confession, written by Deborah and read by the author. Introduction. Deborah's Confession is a fiction of three beautiful ladies who had become inseparable after being friends for almost a decade. They were very ambitious, intelligent, and had a genuine passion for the things of God. Having successfully graduated from the university and had a few months until the commencement of their NYC program, the trio decided to take conscious steps to keep the passion for God burning. They joined a vibrant youth ministry and also became active members of its workforce. However, things took another turn when they began getting overwhelmed by life's demands and entangled in their personal desires. They soon realized they were drifting away from the initial sincere relationship they had with their Maker and resolved to retrace their steps back to Him. But before they got to that point, two of the friends who had lived in self-criticism due to the perceived perfect nature of their third friend got a startling confession from her. What were they experiencing during this process, and what were their struggles? All this and more are captured in this wonderful book. Do enjoy your reading. Chapter 4. Those eyes. Oh, those eyes. There seems to be something special about those eyes. They have a way of brightening my day. They radiate so much love. They make me feel wanted. Oh, so enchanting. Those lips. Damn. I can almost vouch they would feel so soft. I can't wait to have a taste of them. Oh, a stout figure. I can't wait to be wrapped in them. What a satisfying cuddle it would be. Debbie went on in her fantasy as she cuddled her pillow tightly. She was startled by Mrs. Smith's voice. "Debbie, don't tell me you are still in your bed by this time. It's almost 7 a.m. Mrs. Smith said loudly as she pulled the window blind sideways to usher in some real light. Debbie pretended to have just come out from a deep slumber. She had been awake for about an hour, but stayed in bed and wrapped in her fantasies. She feigned a long sleepy yawn. "Oh, good morning, Mom. I slept very late last night. I feel so tired and sleepy." "Deborah Smith, don't be a lazy head. You need to get out of that bed and get something done. But whatever kept you late last night?" "Mom, I was busy with the lesson notes. They were too voluminous," Debbie answered grudgingly. "Not enough to keep you late into the night, dear. Try to keep a well-planned timetable today, but I hope the church activities are not taking too much of your time and energy," Mrs. Smith queried further. "No, Mom. That's the only reason why I'm tired," Debbie answered. She was beginning to feel uncomfortable with her mom's inquisitiveness. Mrs. Smith could be too solicited of her daughter sometimes. Debbie was her only child, and she had grown a deep affection for her, although she often tried to hide it. "Anyways, your breakfast is in the kitchen. You can help yourself with it whenever you're ready. I'm off to work." "Thanks, Mom. You are the best," Debbie complimented as she lazily pulled herself to a sitting position. She tried reconnecting with those romantic thoughts that had engaged her mind before the sudden interruption of her mother, but seemed to have lost track of them. She plopped on the bed feeling so unfulfilled. Debbie took a flashback to the point where all the attraction started, the previous week at the prayer meeting. She had taken some time off to pray on that Thursday and then proceeded to put some things in place in preparation for the prayer meeting, as she usually did. She had only tilted her head to the side, dodging a fly from entering her left eye, before she caught a glimpse of a perfect gentleman standing afar. He was tall and well-built. He stood with a princely poise and had the charisma of a fashion model. His 2 hands were dipped in his side pockets of his trouser as he engaged another man in a conversation. He had a calm countenance and looked very handsome. Debbie fixed her gaze on him, unable to resist his charm. The more she looked, the more she loved what she saw. The more she realized the man looked like Brobayo, the prayer coordinator. Is that Brobayo? She asked herself in deep reflection. She soon fell out of her trance after she captured the man's full face when he turned sideways. She realized the man she had been admiring all the while was Brobayo, the prayer coordinator. She felt a little awkward but couldn't help but look back at him again. She took several peeks at him again and again as she tried to concentrate on what she was doing. Although she had known Brobayo was very good looking, but there was something different and striking about him that evening. Then she saw him come towards her. Her heart began to beat very fast. He looked so ravishing in his well-fitted velvet t-shirt, which was nicely seated on his black pair of jeans trousers. Brobayo wasn't just an attractive man, he was very smart as well. He graduated with first-class honors in chemical engineering from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University. He secured a job with a multinational company not long after his NYSC program. Debbie struggled to pull her thoughts together throughout the prayer meeting that fateful Thursday. She kept on falling in and out of her fantasy. She was beginning to develop a deep affection for him. She scribbled down her notes into it absently. This was her closest companion, her confidence, the thought of a set of 5. A gifted set of 5 diaries she got from her dad on her 19th birthday, her first year in university. That was almost 4 years ago. They came in several beautiful colors, and they were very dainty. This one was special because of its glittering velvet coating. Could that be a coincidence? Debbie loved and cherished these perfect gifts because she could pour all her heart into it with just a few moves from her pen. She had exhausted the first 2 of her university experiences and securely put them away in a private place. Debbie had always guarded these diaries with utmost care. She kept them away from everybody. Nobody had ever had access to their contents except her. She protected them like a golden treasure. She gently put the black AirPod behind her triggers and slid the end of its cable into the appropriate port on her phone. She switched into a relaxation mode as the cool tune sonorously traveled down her ear canal. Those thoughts seem to come well ordered whenever there's a rhythmic flow to accompany them. She wrote down a sensual description of his physique and how appealing they were to her. Debbie was gradually becoming overwhelmed with infatuation. She knew there was something wrong with being too preoccupied with these thoughts, but she enjoyed the temporary satisfaction and pleasure she derived from them. She quickly snapped out of her thoughts again when a scriptural verse came fluttering through her mind. Put to death, therefore, whatever belongs to your earthly nature, sexual immorality, impurity, lust. Colossians 3:5. She clasped her forehead in despair, her heart pummeled with guilt. Then there was a knock at the door. Debbie quickly hid her diary under the pillow before going for the door. Tino, what's up? Debbie said with a crooked smile as she opened the door. Tino kept a long face. Hi, Debbie. What's wrong, Tino? You look moody. Debbie turned to look at Tino as she entered and made her way into the sitting room. Just a little fagged out and unsettled, Tino replied. What could possibly be bothering my dear Tino? Debbie said jokingly as she stroked Tino's nose with her forefinger. Please, before you go further with your questions, kindly get me a cup of water. I'm very thirsty. Where are you coming from? Don't tell me you've gone shopping for your fabric again. Debbie, cup of water, please. Try to be hospitable for once, Tino groaned. Okay, I'll get you your cup of water, Debbie said as she reached for the refrigerator. Tino quickly grabbed the half-full glass cup from Debbie and immediately gulped down its content. Then she gave a relieving sigh. Yes, I can hear you now. What did you say the other time? In the first place, where are you coming from? Debbie asked again. Shopping as usual, Tino retorted. She rested her back on the couch, stretching her strained spine. And secondly, what has been bothering you? Debbie asked with concern. You know what, Debbie? I have been considering leaving the Bible study unit, Tina replied slowly. Why did you say that, Tina? Debbie asked with a keen look. Tina sat up on the couch and fixed her gaze at Debbie. It's wearing me out. I have enough I'm dealing with. I don't have to have another demanding activity, Tina complained. I still don't understand you, Tina. Are you saying the Bible study unit is that demanding to the extent of making you quit? I still don't get it, Debbie said, rolling her eyes. Debbie, the point is, I am putting too much into it than I expected. I prepared too hard for the meetings. I memorized tons of scriptures within a short time and later find myself quoting them out of context. It's really draining and annoying, Tino lamented. Tino, it's not a bad thing you're going through this. You must give yourself some time. You will blend with the flow and you will love the outcome. It will help your spiritual growth. Remember 2 Timothy 2:15. I am the vine, you are the branches, Tino muttered. No. Study to show yourself approved unto God, a workman that needed not to be ashamed. See what I've been saying? I can't continue like this, Tino said disappointedly. Debbie tittered. You will be fine, Tino. You just need to give yourself some time. Debbie consoled as she gave her friend a side hug. Sister Debbie, you will need to excuse us now, Sister Joanna said as she glared at Debbie, who was here to pack her Bible and trotted off her seat. They had just finished our weekly Sunday meeting and members were beginning to leave their seats one after the other. It appears Sister Joanna wanted to have a special meeting with some other members of the unit. She seemed very uncomfortable with Debbie's presence and was running out of patience. She had been showing her some negative vibes lately. Perhaps, threatened by her increasingly frequent participation in department's organization and affairs, she was becoming a familiar face in the unit. Her name was readily mentioned by the other members of the unit, and this wasn't going down well with Sister Joanna. Not even now that the role of the assistant prayer coordinator was yet to be filled. Sister Joanna stood and fixed a steely-eyed gaze on Debbie as she waited for her to pack all her belongings before she made any further move. Debbie hurriedly took her things to another chair far away from her vicinity. Sister Joanna's eyes were still on Debbie, following her everywhere she went. She could see Debbie chatting excitedly with Deborah now, and rage began exuding her being. She angrily got up from her chair. Excuse me, I need to attend to some pressing issues, she said to the other meeting attenders. She walked towards Deborah and Debbie, who were still absorbed in their conversation. Hey Debbie. Oh, Sister Debbie. She quickly corrected herself, visibly restraining herself from an outburst of rage. When are you leaving for camp? She asked Debbie to interrupt them. Camp? What camp? Debbie asked, confused. When are you leaving for the NYC camp? Sister Joanna reinforced. The question took Debbie by surprise as it was totally out of context. Debbie stood dumbfounded, wondering what was going on with Sister Joanna. Deborah cleared his throat. Is someone leaving for service already? His question jolted Sister Joanna out of her state of fury. She quickly comforted herself. I just want to know when Sister Debbie will be going for her youth service, she said, faking a wide smile. Very soon, Deborah replied firmly. Okay, I wish you the best in all of your endeavors, she said as she clumsily left her presence. Deborah gave her a squinted glance as she walked away. He could sense something was wrong with her question but could not lay hold on what it was. That was so hilarious, Debbie laughed out heartily. Don't tell me you did that. Yes, I had to apologize for interrupting his sleep, Deborah said, chuckling. What do you think I should have done? Challenge him? No, I don't prove my rights in such a situation. Debbie laughed out loud again. She was enjoying every bit of the discussion. Her eyes flashed in excitement as they stayed glued on Deborah. The moment I turned back and saw his tattoo, his muscular shoulders, I didn't need to be told to behave myself wisely. The both goofed for about 2 minutes and then Deborah continued his narration. I didn't want to be publicly beaten and disgraced, so I had to let him rest his head on my back and have a good sleep till the end of the journey before I disembarked from the taxi. Debbie kept on staring into his eyes as he spoke. They were glittering like the stars. She couldn't but fall for them over again. Her eyes traveled to his lips. They were full and nicely carved, fitting perfectly to his face. She kept falling deeper into her fantasy as his lips smacked each other. "Sister Debbie," Robayo said loudly, snapping her out of her amorous thoughts. "Yes, Robayo," Debbie stammered. "You seemed absent-minded. Hope all is well." "Yes, just a little distracted," Debbie said, smiling widely. This had become a regular occurrence on their meeting days. Robayo always took time out to get more acquainted with the rest of the Prayer Champion members, especially those that showed more dedication to service, in which category Debbie fell into. They often chatted before the commencement of the meeting or immediately after. As the leader of the group, he had made it a point of duty to know more about their personal well-being, especially as it concerns their spiritual growth. The meeting went smoothly. Everybody had an awesome experience in the presence of God. Debbie cozied up with her Bible in her favorite corner of the auditorium. She said a word of prayer and opened the Bible chapter for the day. She had meticulously planned her Bible reading, grouping the chapters into each weekday. She followed her study timetable religiously, avoiding any form of lag. She read through hastily to cover up the reading for the day so that she could have ample time to spend with her thoughts. She fixed the earpod in her ear and put her diary securely by her side. Debbie's being traveled with the rhythm of the music, engulfed in fantasy and mesmerized by deep physical attraction. She was suddenly jolted out of this state by a tap on her shoulder. She looked up to see who it was. To her amazement, it was Sister Joanna. This was quite unusual. Sister Joanna had never been to this corner before. She had never interrupted her quiet time, as was considered a solemn activity. She quickly sat up and removed the earpod from her ears. "Please reduce the volume of the music," Sister Joanna said irritatingly. Debbie felt a shiver down her spine. She couldn't believe what she just heard. She felt she had fixed the earpod cable into the rightful port before turning on the music. "No, this isn't happening," she thought to herself. How could she have made a grievous mistake? She had never played gospel music whenever she was in this mood. She was perplexed. She didn't know what to say. She could hear the beautiful love song, Hallelujah, by Johnny Drill playing out of the mobile device. Debbie feigned a smile. "Oh, I'm so sorry for that. I will adjust it now." "Please do," Sister Joanna said, grimacing before taking her leave. Debbie's heart panted in fear. She earnestly hoped for Sister Joanna heard only the Hallelujah part of the song, so she wouldn't go about proclaiming how carnal she was. She turned off the music and went to the prayer meeting. Debbie laid on her bed later that night, recounting all her experiences at the church during the day. She dipped her hand inside her brown leather handbag to bring out her diary, but it was nowhere to be found. She turned it upside down, packing its contents. She anxiously ransacked it to be sure it wasn't missing. She went through all other items in the room, but there was no sight of it. "Oh my God! I left my diary in the church. This is not nice," she lamented as she clasped her hand in despair. The end of chapter 4.
End of this episode. Thanks for listening to the BIM Hunter Hive podcast. See you in the next episode.
You can get a copy of this book by contacting the author via our social media handle BIMHunter_Hive for Instagram, and for Facebook simply search BIMHunterHive and you'll be able to get in touch with the author. We look forward to hearing from you.